I said it yesterday, I'm saying it today, and I'll say it again tomorrow. You like sneakers, that's why you're watching this. One of the biggest sneaker collections in the world is going to be on this channel in just 2 days' time on Thursday of this week. It's an incredible sneakers collection brought to you by Shoe Butter, and it's got some of the rarest sneakers in the world, some of the most expensive sneakers in the world, some of the first sneakers in the world, and by that I mean prototypes and samples, Yeezy samples that still haven't released yet. There's a ton of sneakers in this collection that you just have to see. It's an amazing collection. It's an amazing video in 2 days' time, and I just want to just straight up at the top of my videos yesterday, today, and tomorrow is just to tell you about that, and make sure you tune in on Thursday and see that collection. It's going to be an amazing thing. And it's part of the butter movement, but the butter movement stuff I always say I leave to the end of the video, so we keep the sneaker first, front and center. So if you're interested in more about that collection and the butter movement and that video, jump into the back end of this video. But for now, we have to get into looking at the actual sneaker that we're looking at today. And there's a ton going on with this one. There's a ton going on in relation to my channel, because I've looked at this particular line and this particular collaboration a few times, and there's also a ton going on with the sneaker itself. So today I'm very much looking forward to bringing you my review of the upcoming release of the Nike Pegasus 36 Trail Gore-Tex. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel, Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Des, mainichi upsuru no de, mainichi mite kudasai. Every single day I'm bringing you content from Tokyo, Japan about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews, and today is no different as we look forward to the upcoming release of the Nike Pegasus 36 Trail Gore-Tex. And as I said at the top of this video, there's a sort of double thing going on here. On the one hand, it's all about me and my channel, and on the other hand, it's all about this particular sneaker. So let's start with the me and my channel part. Number one, I've reviewed a few Pegasuses over the course of my channel, Gyakusos, and there was something last week as well. Was that Under Something? A tie-up with a brand last week as well. And not the Gyakusos, the Pegasus sneaker reviews for some reason do very well for my channel, so thank you for watching, I appreciate it very much. But also, not only have I done a few Pegasus reviews, I've also done a few Gore-Tex reviews. Now, I think it was about 3 weeks ago there was a Gore-Tex tie-up with Air Force Ones, at least two colorways. One was burnt orange and the other one was a gold color, which I did a review for. And then last week I did a review for another Air Force One, but it was a high this time, and again a Gore-Tex tie-up. And now here we are with a third in maybe 3 or 4 weeks review. This time the Gore-Tex line is getting together with the Nike to bring us two Pegasuses. And I guess something's going on with Gore-Tex and Nike, you know, if they're doing these kind of tie-ups. I don't know what it is, if it's a brand tie-up or a corporate tie-up or a tax break for all I know. But this is the third Gore-Tex tie-up with Nike that I've brought you over the last few weeks. I'm sure there'll be more to come as we move into the winter months. And we'll be having a look at this sneaker and all that's going on. And that's the other part of it, is actually looking at the details on the sneaker. And there are a lot that I like about them. And I'll talk about that, especially about some of the reviews I've done in relation to collaborations and running shoes in the past have talked about why I don't like them, and today I'm happy to talk about why I do like this particular one. But before all of that, this is a YouTube channel and I need subscribers and I need watch time. It's a struggle for me right now to get the watch time, so I need to get that watch time up there. The subscribers are growing little by little, but the watch time isn't really following it. So if you can stick around and watch for a bit of time, that would truly help. And as I am here in Tokyo, Japan, I do say at the start of my videos in Japanese, Toroku yoroshiku onegai shimasu. あとは watch time というものをよろしくお願いします。長く見るとチャンネルの助かるになるので、ぜひ長く見てください。登録もぜひよろしくお願いします。Okay, now getting into these guys, the Nike Pegasus 36 Trail Gore-Tex tie-up. There's a few things that I want to look at on here. First and foremost, what I've seen is two colorways, two very distinct colorways, I should say, for this particular shoe. And you've probably seen from the pictures behind me here. The one is a green and orange colorway, which is very earthy and natural, and the other one is a sort of triple black colorway. So they're very different in that one is a very color-based sneaker, and the other one is a very neutral-based sneaker. I do like the Pegasus quite a lot, and there's a lot that I like about this particular Pegasus, and one of the main feature that I like about it is that it's stripped back and it's toned down. A lot of the Pegasuses I've reviewed in the past, they've had a little bit too much physically on them, like the lacing system's been too chunky, or around about the midfoot there's been a bit of extra design on there that's been more for branding than for functionality. And these are a running shoe, and you want to run with them in you know, off-road in the forest or in the woods or stuff like that on trails. I think in that situation you want a light shoe, and you also don't want too much trim or anything that's going to catch on what we call, what do we call them, the gorse, brambles and stuff like that. You don't want that to catch, you know, on your sneaker and then rip the sneaker or the fabric of the sneaker. So I'm very, very happy to see that this particular tie-up with the Gore-Tex line is very simple and very sort of toned down and kind of sort of pared back a little bit. That's in contrast to the Gore-Tex branding that comes only on the lateral side, because there's a large splatter of Gore-Tex down the lateral side there. Kind of reminds me of my recent review of the Nike joggers 3Ms with the size of the 3M branding on there. But what's interesting about these guys is that the Gore-Tex branding on the lateral side is not repeated on the medial side. On the medial side you have that trail insignia on there with the triangle and the trail going off into the distance in the middle of the triangle. And it's a very sort of toned down, pared back upper, and that's really evident on the medial side. And I appreciate it. I think it's pretty cool. Then coming up to the lacing system very briefly, there's not much to see on there, which is a good thing, because you want it to be light and you want it to have few things on there. But there is a bit of an insignia on there that says something about waterproof certified, and there's more information there than I know about, to be honest. Like, there's something before where it says waterproof certified, like a number or something like that. I don't know if that tells you how waterproof they are, or how good they are at keeping the water out. But it's a trail sneaker. It's supposed to be worn off-road and stuff like that. So I think the runners out there are going to truly appreciate the fact that these guys are waterproof certified, because then you know when you get off-road and you're running in puddles, or it's raining, or it's wet underfoot, even just dew on the grass, which you wouldn't normally get on like road or surface running, then you want to have waterproof so that you can keep your feet nice and comfortable. And a second sort of branding situation that's going on that I really, really appreciate is that there's an insignia on there that says "worn to be wild," which I think is hilarious. Instead of "born to be wild," "worn to be wild," because you're wild, you're going off the trail, you're going into the wilds and things like that. So I think that's a really good tagline, saying "worn to be wild" on them. But then coming down a little bit from the upper, if we go down to the outsole, one of my favorite features of this sneaker is the outsole. And if you have a look at it, I'm sure I've got a picture behind me here of the orange ones, because the triple black ones it's hard to see because they're triple black and you don't get that contrast between the colors. But the orange ones here, you can see there's a contrast between the two colors. And what you've got is a split outsole, and it's split kind of, I suppose you could say vertically, maybe horizontally, I don't know which, but along the length of the sneaker. And that looks like a trail to me, and it looks like a trail carving through the mountains, because the triangles to me represent mountains, or they represent trees. So it's trail running through a forest or a trail running through the mountains. But I just dig this outsole. I think it's a really cool outsole, and it really represents the rest of the sneaker and the story of the sneaker. Now coming to that black, triple black ones, we looked at the orange ones there for the outsole, but the triple black ones, I was very surprised when I was looking through them, and the last thing I got to in my research was a really cool, and I'll just go pop and stick it up behind me now, picture of sort of reflective 3M branding on the black one, and it looks really, really cool, and it really accentuates the sort of stripped back, toned down nature of these shoes, because you can see it's just like a shoe, an outline, a silhouette of a shoe with some hits of reflective branding on there, and that really sort of just speaks to me about this sneaker, and about how they've really kind of got it down to its essentials, its bare elements, a very simplified version of the sneaker. And I think the runners out there will appreciate that. That's what they're looking for. And even the 3M branding, or the reflective branding, I don't know if it's 3M branding, the reflective branding, runners again will appreciate that for nighttime running and just being visible to cars and vehicles driving by. So it's not just for style, but it's also for that functionality there as well. But what I don't know is if that reflectiveness comes in on both the colorways or if it's just the triple black colorway. I'm not sure about that, but if you know that, please let me know in the comments down below so that I can tell people in future videos. But that's about enough for me about these Pegasuses. I think I've managed to cover everything that I wanted to talk about on these guys, and then that means we're into the bar movement side of things. As I said at the top, I did say at the top of this video, these days I'm talking about the bar movement at the end of my videos. And I think I'm going to talk about shoes up, sleeves down right now, because shoes up, sleeves down and I have been sort of following each other's channels since probably spring. It's now late autumn or early winter, so we've been following each other's channels for quite a few months. And he dropped a comment on a recent video of mine that said something like, I don't really know what you're talking about with this butter movement, but you seem really excited about it, so I'm with you, bro. Which I really appreciated, you know, like that even though he doesn't know what I'm talking about, he's still got my back, and that's a great thing in general. But specifically, it made me realize that maybe I need to do a better job of explaining to you, the viewer out there, what this butter movement is and what it's all about. And basically what it was a counter movement against the sneaker movement. A couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, the sneaker movement on YouTube was getting a little bit too commercial, focused a bit too much on money and branding and gosh, the sort of high-end stuff, and it seemed to be getting away from the kind of, you know, the regular Joe on the street, for want of a better description. So Shoe Butter basically had the Shoe Butter moving in a direction that was like a counter movement to that movement. It was a balance off that. So it was much more about your average guy. It was much more about giving back to the community instead of taking from the community. There's a lot of charity work that went into it. A lot of sort of supporting the local community around where Shoe Butter is and things like that. Giveaways and things like that. So it was more about at least a balance between what the viewer gives the content creator and what the content creator gives the viewer in the world, whereas a lot of the other YouTubers at that time were a bit more take. So it was a counter movement, and a lot of people got behind it. A lot of people really appreciated it and appreciated the message and appreciated the authenticity of the guy, Shoe Butter himself, in contrast to those sort of fake personalities that you get in some channels where they're not so authentic, and it seems to be a persona that they're putting on for their channel. So that was what the butter movement was, but then the channel got shut down suddenly, and one day we all woke up to nothing, which really disappointed everybody, and Google had their reasons for doing that. And since this is a YouTube channel, I'm not going to get into that, but Google, if you've got a way of bringing that channel back, you know what I'm saying. So I used to drop content for that channel every once in a while, and when that dried up, I thought, right, you know, I'm gonna get back into this myself, and hopefully someday Shoe Butter will come back to us somehow. And here he is. He's come back, dropping content for us, which will be the day after tomorrow. We thoroughly look forward to that. It's going to be an amazing thing for me, for you, for the channel, and hopefully for Shoe Butter himself as well. So hopefully shoes up, sleeves down, and anybody else out there who's a bit confused about what I was talking about with the butter movement, hopefully that gives you a little bit more clarity about it, and an understanding of what it was and what it is. I don't know what it will be though, so that's why I dropped that video last Thursday, sort of talking about the direction. A word I like to use these days is trajectory, and the reason I like the word trajectory is because trajectories can change. So you're not on a fixed sort of destination, and if you don't reach that destination, it's over. Trajectories can change, and I like that. So the current trajectory for my channel and Shoe Butter was sort of detailed in this video last week, but that's not to say it won't change at some time in the future. Okay, it's time for me to sign off. Hope you guys appreciate the content, the review of the Pegasus 36 Trail Gore-Texes, and also the information about the butter movement. I do this every single day, which means at the end of my videos, I'm always thrilled to be able to say that I will confidently, definitely and guaranteed be here, so you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.